Hey, okay, so I'm not too sharp right now. I'm a little sleepy. I've been on my phone a lot today, so we'll see how this comes out. But I do have something I want to say, and it has to do with this box of Honey Nut Cheerios. So I've been making a real effort to eat healthier and to spend less money on food. There are a few reasons for this. They've all kind of been intertwining and taking me on this journey. One of them is in 2024, I had a health situation that required me to get surgery, and it was gut related, and that really made me start thinking about what food am I putting into my body. That was one thing. The other main thing is that my money situation was getting very stressful. And so I had this big realization one day that, because my focus had been, let me increase my income. So I was entering this increased state of stress and tension, looking for opportunities. How am I going to grow my income? And then it dawned upon me one day that there's something else I can do, and it's to reduce my spending as much as I can. So this led me to a journey of budgeting, and one of the most obvious areas that I needed to cut back was dining out and groceries. So budgeting gave me this kind of sharp awareness, and it was out of necessity really, because I was really sick and tired of being in this stressful money situation. And I needed to cut back because my income wasn't going up fast enough. So I was becoming to be sharply aware and disciplined about my spending habits when it came to dining out and shopping at the grocery store. And I'm going to continue that thread in the moment, but I want to go back into the past to an acid trip I once had, where I was eating this pasta with sauce, and it was like, a canned sauce with whatever they put in there. Not a can, a glass jar. And my body spoke to me so loudly, and it told me, I do not like what you're putting into this body right now. I do not like this pasta or this sauce. And because of the acid, I was very in tune with my intuition and in tune with what my body was telling me and in tune with truth. And I never forgot that. And I realized from that moment on that our bodies tell us what it likes and what it doesn't like. We've just over time learned to suppress and ignore those signals that our body gives us, but our body tells us loud and clear what it wants and what it doesn't want. Back to the pasta experience, I couldn't eat it. Again, because of the psychedelic, it was impossible to not be true, if that makes sense. So I couldn't eat the pasta, and I just remember being deeply attracted to this apple. And I ate the apple, and it felt like so good going down my system. And that was a very significant moment for me, and that was a few years ago, or a couple years ago. So that has stuck with me, but it didn't fully teach me what I'm continuing to learn. It really took the health situation and the financial situation to continue to learn this. And by the way, what I think happened with the pasta and the sauce is I think my body didn't like whatever preservatives or whatever was in that sauce, because it was like in the jar, one of those commercial ones, whatever. And obviously, my body likes eating natural, wholesome foods that grow out of the earth. Okay, so now let's get back to the budgeting. One of the biggest things I did was I cut down on my spending on dining out, like I said. And before my awareness was brought to this, I was spending exorbitant amounts on meals out, which is the contrast from then to now is just insane. I mean, I've cut that spending. I'm spending a sixth of what I used to be spending on dining out, which is insane. And I'm perfectly content and perfectly happy, if not happier now. So that's the one thing, but I want to talk about the grocery store. And I was also spending an exorbitant amount of money at the grocery store. And I live in New York City, so things are expensive, and they still are with my current habits, which have changed a lot. But I had this budget, so I had this reason to be disciplined. And so I also was becoming aware of this health thing, and I had this health motivation. So what started to happen is I would go to the grocery store and I would buy more and more produce and wholesome foods and, fruits, vegetables, and protein, basically. And I would avoid the snacks, the processed foods, everything that wasn't a wholesome food from the earth, basically. I would avoid it. And not only did this cut my grocery bill by more than half, it also made it so that I was eating significantly healthier foods at home, cooking more, feeling this vitality in my body, But now, let's look at this. Okay, you see this? I want you to try to see something if you haven't seen this already. Why does it look like this? Why is there this big, bright font, this character, this claim about improving your health? And then when you pour something like this into the bowl and you look at it, and you really look at it, you realize it's not food. Maybe it's made out of some food, but it's not food. So that's why they have to put it in this box and put this advertisement and a puzzle for kids on it. It's even more sad that this is directed at kids who don't have a sharp mind yet. It's made to grab their attention. And this is made to make your mouth water. So, I try my best at this store, and I'm doing this practice, and I'm trying not to buy things like this, basically. But this one also had one of those grocery store discounts, and it was only $5. Back to the budgeting, things like this, things that are not wholesome, not straight out of the earth, that are wrapped in advertising like this and marketing like this, they add up on your grocery bill significantly. I'm pretty sure this thing in New York at my store is usually $9, $10. So it's really a win-win for your health, for your money when you start to realize all this, but I digress. This one got me the other day at the grocery store. I was like, oh, what the heck? I'm under my, the budget actually just reset because it's January. I'm under my budget. I'm going to give myself a little treat. But it just it really gets you thinking about the whole system. And it's so hard to see what's happening and to keep your awareness on it. And I think one of the reasons it's so hard is because of the agro marketing. And I'm sure you've heard it, like these things are placed on the shelves intentionally, so it's at the right eye level, and they have these crazy, you don't see carrots and broccoli wrapped up like this, you know? Or like the meat, it's just the meat. Some of it's wrapped in advertising, but some of it's just meat. And there are some stores where it's all just the produce out. I have one of those stores and I feel truly, truly lucky to have it. And there's no shelving with nothing with these crazy advertisements. But another thing I noticed, because as I've been 100 days free of alcohol now, I'm trying to really address my habits of overconsumption. I've been noticing how, as I've cut out those bad habits, one bad habit that has taken its place is the overconsumption of food. Like I'll just be constant snacking. And I've noticed this, and it happened right away with this box of Cheerios. And I'm just a little bit suspicious why that habit of snacking only seems to happen with these processed foods that are aggressively marketed with the flashy colors, like chips, cookies, you know what I'm talking about. Stuff that looks like this. If I really think about it, I don't think that I'm ever tempted to start slamming bananas. Or apples. Like I'm really trying to think here if there are times when I've like binged healthy, wholesome foods, and I think I'm gonna get really specific here. It's funny because I think that if I have like a place of rice, veggies, and a protein, if I've got a lot of soy sauce and hot sauce on it, then I can get into this pattern. And it seems like it's more about the hot sauce and the soy sauce as opposed to the rice, protein, and the veggies. Whereas if there were no sauce, I think I would just eat till I'm full and then be done. But I'm digressing here. The point that I'm trying to make is there seems to be a correlation. There's something addictive about these foods that are wrapped in marketing. These foods that are not foods that are wrapped in marketing. So then you get hooked on these foods. And then you're spending more and more of your money on them because you're hooked on these foods. When all we really need to survive and be happy and healthy are fruits, vegetables, proteins, wholesome foods from the earth. So this is an awakening that I've been going through. And it's fresh and it's unfolding. And it's been really interesting to see how the budgeting has helped me have this awakening more and more because it's forcing the discipline. It's forcing me to be there in the store and be like, I have to say no to this stuff. I can only buy the foods that I actually need to eat to survive. So then the first thing that goes away is all the fluff. And then that's making me realize as I live that week with only wholesome groceries in the house, like I'm just kind of having these 3 home cooked meals a day, and I'm not really snacking on anything in between, and I'm like more present and more alert, and I'm saving so much money, and these groceries are actually going a really long way. And then it's just curious how I give in on this, and then all of a sudden I'm just eating Honey Nut Cheerios all day, and I don't really feel good after. So just something I'm learning, and I wanted to share as this journey unfolds. This is going to be a process that I continue to learn about and hone as I grow and change. And it's connected to this greater journey of realizing that we don't need all this excess. And in fact, this excess tends to weigh us down in a negative way, whether it's on our health, on our finances, whatever it may be. It seems like the common thread of many of the journeys that I've been on is that when you come to know your inherent wholeness, and when you practice discipline to not grab and take from the outside to try to fill that void that you perceive, when you realize you're whole and complete as you are, and when you practice that and connect to that, you start to cut through these layers of marketing and illusion that tricked us into all this consumption for the benefit of certainly not us. All right, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Let me know in the comments. I hope you found this interesting, and I'll see you next time.